Good evening once again to the Marty Heiser Show. We have got an incredible show tonight. I mean, this is really, really fascinating because right here in our backyard, we have some of the finest young men that are playing an incredibly high level of competitive hockey. Right down at the Danbury Arena, you can go see their games. They're usually like Friday night, Wednesday night, the occasional Sunday game. It's really incredible. But we're going to take this whole program and we're going to meet some of these guys. Some of these guys are from the Czech Republic. There's a guy from Alberta, Canada, a bunch of guys from Ontario, Canada. There's a young man from Montreal, Quebec. And all these guys are putting it all out on the ice at the Danbury Arena, week in and week out. They play for the team called the Danbury Whalers. Now, we're going to be looking at hockey, but we're going to be taking it from a certain perspective. For those of you, and you might want to go get your mom and dad, because they know the movie Slapshot. Started Paul Newman. It's a classic. And it captures some of this, what I would refer to as minor league hockey that you see. In that movie, you learn and get to know some of the different characters in the movie. Some of them are not making a lot of money doing it, but they do it for the love of the game. You're going to meet some of these guys. We have extensive interviews with these guys, up close and personal behind the scenes. But in addition to that, we have a lot of footage which, if you are a little squeamish and you didn't like the movie, say, Gladiator, you might not like it. But part of this hockey in the Federal Hockey League, there are fisticuffs, and they do go to blows, and that's a big part of the game. And I brought in this evening to sort of break it all down for us, Mark Serino. Thank you so much for joining us. And by the way, may I say, that is a great jacket. It really is.
Well, to tell the background about this amazing piece of menswear, this was purchased last week in preparation for the New Haven Nighthawks night. We had a chance to wear the black and silver of that famous 88-89 team that played down at the old New Haven Coliseum.
Right, right.
So my idea was, let me go back and get a piece of menswear from that era and really give fans an idea that we're going back in time. We're going to that simpler time before cell phones and the internet. Initially, I thought we were going farther back than we actually did. I figured it would be 70s night. So it's a bit loud, and hopefully this doesn't blow people's things. Well, are we on in high definition?
Yeah, we're in high def. So some of you may.
Some people might send letters, but it's all for the enhancement of the game for the fans, and you know it's always a bit of fun. We do this. We have a lot of fun. I enjoy my job. I enjoy going to work, especially game days when I'm live wire. But that said, you know what? Let's find this jacket, let's wear it, let's go back in time, and let's give the fans something to talk about.
Mark Serino.
I wasn't expecting that I was expecting this to be...
No, we got to get off your jacket, although it's a great jacket. And anyone who knows Don Cherry, it's Don Cherry-esque, if you know what I'm saying, as far as the jacket's concerned. Now, Mark is a live wire. He is the communications director for the Danbury Whalers. You know these guys inside and out. What we're about to see is some footage of some recent games where some fisticuffs broke out. It's a little bit like I went to a fight and a hockey game broke out. In this case, I went to a hockey game and some fights broke out. But just walk us through. Now, you're an Ivy League graduate. You're a graduate of the University of Pennsylvania. You were a history major there, focusing in European history. There's been a lot of wars and clashes in Europe. Explain to the vast viewing audience here what is going on with these fights and the self-policing and how it's really part of the game and not all that bad. Explain it.
Okay, this is going to be interesting. Now, I've never played hockey myself, so I don't know firsthand what goes on in the room or on the ice and what the players say to each other. But there is this idea that in hockey, you are held accountable for your actions. The players, you know, you do get penalties and you do go to the box and feel shame. But the players...
Spend some time on... It's the adult timeout. You go to the penalty box, yes. You've been naughty, 2 minutes, think about what you've done, then you can come out and play.
Yes. But the players know when there's actions that'll go on that are completely out of line, they must take umbrage. Sometimes it's to protect a skilled player. The teams have guys who are enforcers. Think of guys like Tiger Williams, Dave Schultz from back in the day.
Semenko was the big guy that sort of protected Wayne Gretzky. Throughout his career, he shadowed him, and later Marty McSorley again protected Wayne Gretzky. So what you have is you have some skilled players, and then in the combat, the Darwinian combat that unfolds on the ice, survival of the fittest, you've got to protect your goal scorers, otherwise you're going to be in trouble. You know, it's interesting, you'll know about this, but the Broad Street Bullies, the Philadelphia Flyers back in the early 70s, HBO had a great documentary if you look it up on that, Broad Street Bullies, but they won 2 Stanley Cups, and they fought their way to the Stanley Cup. It's just part of the game. Now, you might not like it, and for those of you at home, with their children at home, what you're about to see, you might want to push some aside, because some of this stuff is a little bit brutal, but it is part of the game, and there's an understanding of it, and it's kind of interesting because these combatants sometimes played on the same team in the past, and now they're just having at it.
And it's interesting, too, because with these leagues and all these things, a lot of these guys know each other, and in the offseason, they'll go out to the cottages in Ontario and Martha's Vineyard and play in tournaments and get to know each other. But speaking of the boys, I was actually watching the Flyers Soviet game back in '76. I'm a South Jersey native. Parents went to Flyers games back in the day, and I was actually watching the footage of when Ed Van Impe just laid a guy out with a good clean check, and the Soviets decided, okay, we're getting out of here. This isn't happening.
And they just got on the bus and left.
No, they didn't. Oh, they didn't? They came back out in the first period. Yeah, initially they walked off the ice and said, no, we're not going to play this. This is dirty hockey. This is bad hockey. But then they came back out. They were assessed a delay of game penalty, and on that, the Rocket, Reggie Leach scored to make it 1-0. The Flyers did go on to win that game and embarrass the Red Army. But hey, 2-time defending Stanley Cup champions, and really, when you think about it in the evolution of hockey, since you used the Darwinian phrase,
yes,
if it were not for the Broad Street Bullies, you might not have all these leagues, the East Coast Hockey League, the Central Hockey League, the Southern Professional Hockey League. 3 teams in South Carolina starting next season in the East Coast Hockey League?
Yeah.
It's warm in South Carolina. You play golf. And you watch football, and you barbecue in January. You don't do hockey, but there's that idea that I guess the genesis of this hockey explosion in America came from the Bullies and the entertainment they brought the fans. They packed the Spectrum. Flyers fans pay thousands upon thousands of dollars to go see the Flyers. Rangers fans pay that. Devils fans pay that. And how happy were people in Hartford to have the Whalers for that time?
No, I'm telling you, it really is great entertainment. It takes a little understanding, you know, when you see this, what you're about to see on this show, what you're about to see as we go to some of the videotape, it's a little brutal, and you can't really understand it that much, but I'm telling you, it's part of the game, and you get great value with some of these leagues. And the good part on this show today is you're going to be able to meet some of these guys. There's some of the most mild-mannered guys you can imagine off the ice. These are really thoughtful young men, and they are skating hard and putting it all on the ice. What also you're going to see tonight is you're going to meet Phil Esposito. No, not that Phil Esposito, but same name, and he's the august coach of the Danbury Whalers, and he's got these young men skating hard and playing hockey. So you're going to get to meet Phil Esposito, you're going to get to meet some of these players, and you're going to get to see some footage that you might not otherwise see. You know, in Canada, in the highlights on the sports, like, you know, the news sports program, they show the fights, not so much here.
Well, it's a little different because in America, they like to emphasize and accentuate the skill. You know, if there's a fight in a game, sometimes it'll get some mention and it'll get it on ESPN or the NHL networks. But yeah, TSN, especially Don Cherry, loves the physical stuff and loves the fighting. But here in the Federal Hockey League, there's that balance. You have guys like, you know, say Corey Fulton for the Whalers, Chase Tippin for the Thousand Ounce Privateers. Those guys are the enforcers. But you also have guys who played in the NHL. Pierre Dagenet, you have in Akwesasne. You have guys like Alex Kirshner who've played Division I hockey. I think I actually had a chance to sit and chat with him.
Yeah, it was part of the interviews. Yeah.
And you have guys who have played at higher levels, who are older, and you have guys who are 22, 23 coming up.
So without any further ado, we're going to go to the videotape. In the words of Don Cherry, as far as hockey fights are concerned, he said, the players don't seem to mind. The fans love it. I don't see what the big deal is. That's a quote from Don Cherry. Stay tuned, and you'll get to meet some of these young men, and then we'll have a wrap-up at the end. So let's go to the videotape. situation. You tie it up late. You have a power play, and you give up a man-down goal. What was going through your mind when that happened?
Well, I got a lot of stuff going through my mind right now. So we let teams hang around. A team like that, we let them hang around. They hang around, and when you let a team hang around long enough, it comes back to bite you in the ass. And you don't put them away, and you don't give them a reason to pack up and go home. And you got to do that at some point.
My sense was, especially in the first and second period, you were out-skating that team. The puck was constantly down in their zone. You were peppering their goalie constantly. But that was the feeling I got. Somehow they just hung around, and then they got a couple crazy goals late.
Yeah, we made a lot. We took the play to them, and then we made a mistake or two, and then when we made those mistakes, they put it in our net. So it's just one of those situations where you like I said, let the team hang around long enough, and it's going to bite you in the ass.
Listen, what do you got coming up? What are the next games, and what are you going to do as far as changes?
Well, we play Wednesday night against Cape Cod again here, so I got to go back to the drawing board here and figure this out, and try and figure out what we're going to do next. So,
listen, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir.
All right, are you ready?
I'm ready.
We're here with Lucas Schott, the pride and joy of Erin, Ontario. How does the hockey compare in the junior leagues up in Canada compared to what you're doing here in this league?
I'd say it's probably not as quick. Up here, the guys are a little more composed. We're older professionals, so guys kind of stay in their positions. They're not really running around out of their position, and basically that's about it right now.
All right, talk to me a little bit about fighting. Last night was a real slugfest. Tonight, not so much. Until the end, when it seemed like the game was decided, you were down by 2. You dropped the gloves at the end. For the average viewer out there that don't really understand that part of the game, what's the thinking behind that? Is it a pride thing, or what happens at the end?
Yeah. Also, we got 2,000 fans in the building that came to see us, win a game, and when you're on the losing side of the scoreboard, you want to give them something. So usually, obviously we'd rather have the W, but sometimes you got to go out and put on some of the show for the fans that paid some good money to get here.
Yeah, it does seem like a little bit like if there's going to be a fight, it might be right at the beginning of the game. Like Sean Avery, they just played the Rangers just played a game. They had a fight right at the beginning of the game. But when it's a close game and a tight game, if you get into a fight and you end up getting the roughing call, and you get the major, the other guy gets a minor, you put your team down. So you don't want to do that. But I'll tell you, it was a tough game tonight. Have you been in a game before where you had a power play, you had just tied it up, and you give a shorthanded goal? That's got to be a kick to the gut.
Yeah, exactly. Just that takes a win right out of yourselves. Like we went out there, we had a big goal to tie it up, and then we just kind of got running around in our own end for a second, and guy got loose and put in the rebound. So.
Do you play golf at all?
I do.
It's a little bit like, you double bogey a hole, you just don't feel good until you come back with a par or something like that. Is that how it is with hockey? Is this going to stick with you until you go out there and you win the next game?
It will, yeah. Well, we'll come back to work tomorrow and, do what we can. We got to work on, we got a lot of things to work on. PP, 5-on-5, forward check, everything. So, come back to work tomorrow and Wednesday night's another night.
All right, well, we'll get this behind us. Thank you very much for taking the time. Appreciate it. Nick Deschênes, from Warrenville, Alberta. Okay, I got a bunch of questions. We're here with Nick Deschênes. He comes all the way from Alberta, Canada, to come down here and play hockey in Danbury and these other areas. Now, Nick, you're not only a player, but you're also the player coach. Tonight's game, your coach is suspended. He's up in the stands. Did you feel an added weight of responsibility to try and direct the team, even though you're playing in the game?
Not so much. It happened before, but we have Kelly Miller, who's been a player assistant coach, as well in other teams, and so he stepped up big time for us and handled the forward, and I handled the defenseman, and between the two of us, we were able to get through the game.
All right. Well, listen, I know like journalists are supposed to be objective and all that stuff, but forget it. I'm not objective. When you scored that goal in the third period to tie it up, I about jumped out of the stands, and I thought, wow, momentum is on our side. What a heartbreaker, because you had a power play at the time to then give a shorthanded goal. Take me through that.
Well, no, it's something that can't happen. We were short-staffed, and I think just miscommunication in our zone. and it ended up being a breakdown, and it turned into a goal against, and that's like the last thing you want to have happen. That being said, things broke down for us well before that single goal. It shouldn't have been a 3-3 game at that point.
Yeah, it seemed like it, especially in the first period. I thought, wow, Cape Cod, the buses warmed up. They've already left the building. They didn't want to be here. They didn't want to skate. It seemed like you guys were beating them to every open puck.
Yeah.
What happened as the game went on?
Well, right now we're running a bit of a losing streak aside from the night before, and I think guys are we're falling into bad habits, and we are not playing the way we need to play, and it's just, as the games wear on, we tend to lose our focus, we tend to lose discipline, and we tend to just let the momentum leave our side and transfer over to the other team. And I said, we're trying lineup changes, we're doing as much as we can, and we have to find an answer to that problem.
All right, last question. You're the captain of the team. They look to you for leadership. What's the approach? Do you kick a garbage can? Do you take the whole team out to Chuck E. Cheese? What's it going to take to turn this around from the captain's point of view?
Well, I think we have a lot of leadership on our team, starting from our coach and then on down. When times are tough, it's easy to hide. It's easy to tuck your tail between your legs. My role on this team is definitely to lead by example, and that's something that I try to pride myself on, and also to, as a coach, help players in different areas of the game. But again, like, Phil's our voice, and we've got to act upon that.
It was a great shot. Glove side low, tied up the game. It just didn't make that way. Thank you for taking the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. From the Czech Republic. All right. We're here with Martin Muka from the Czech Republic. He's coming all the way over from Europe to play. Just interesting. How does the hockey compare here, North American hockey, to what you have in the Czech Republic?
It's a little bit more physical in the corner. It's a little smaller ice, but I don't know. I came over, I was like 16, so I got adjusted pretty quick.
And how old are you now?
28.
28. So you've been used to this North American hockey for all these years?
Yeah, 10 years or so.
Okay. You wish you had more of the open ice like they have in Europe and more, style, or?
Well, it would probably help against the slower teams, get the wider ice, more movement, more puck movement or so. It really doesn't matter.
Now, in your career, you played with a lot of these other teams. You've been up in the ECHL and these other teams. How does this team and this league compare with the other ones that you played on?
It's not much of a difference from East Coast to here. It's just, guys are smarter and a little bit stronger, You just have to have your head on the swivel, and the next level up is you just gotta make less mistakes. That's all it is, So guys are more aware, and they, it's more tape to tape, and it's a little bit more, not organized, but just, how would I say it? It's like, the guys have a little bit better control of everything, their body, their movement, and everything.
Now, you're considered, for the people that are viewing at home, you're considered one of the goal scorers, one of the skilled players. How do you, when you're out there, how do you protect yourself, and how do you, like, if you know Wayne Gretzky, he had Semenko, that kind of thing. Do you feel like you need to have guys on your team that protect you as far as you are on the ice, and how does that work?
We have a couple guys here that obviously can do that, but I'm not that kind of guy that goes in and just, scrums. If there's somebody there, then, I'll hold him back or anything. I'm not going to fight, but I really don't care if I have to fight, so.
That's just part of the game.
That just happens.
Okay, and you might end up fighting a guy, and then you find out next year you're playing on the same team with them.
Yeah, that happens.
Well, listen, thank you very much. Appreciate you taking the time. Thank you. All right. We're here with Chris Seifert. Now, we've met guys from the Czech Republic. We've met guys from Quebec. We've met guys from, Bumblebutt, Alberta, Canada. Actually, it's not Bumblebutt. But you're right here in Reading, Connecticut. And you're hanging with these guys. How do you do that?
Just skating during the week and coming to the rink focused and just trying my best out there. Fortunately tonight it wasn't enough, but I try to do as much as I can out there.
Now, when I'm watching you play, I would view you as what I would refer to as a sniper. I mean, you're there. You have your stick on the ice. You're always positioning yourself for rebounds. You're always positioning yourself for the tip-in goal, which you got tonight. Walk us through that goal. How did you get that one?
I just went to the front of the net, like you said. Had the stick down. Shot was nice and low, and just redirected it in. I had a couple other tip-ins that didn't go in.
Yeah,
but you just if you want to score, you got to go to the front of the net, and that's where goals happen.
All right, now if we're talking about a hockey dream, are you keeping your hockey dream alive by playing on the Danbury Whalers? Is this something that you're looking to have, go to the next stage and the next stage? Or is this your full-time job? Or people viewing this are going to say, is this what you do for a living? Or how does this all work?
Well, I coach kids, and I work, and I play. So, try to balance all of it. I've been playing for, 7, 8 years now, and, I'm happy kind of just playing in Danbury now, and, hoping to bring a championship to here.
Well, listen, this is, for those of you youth hockey players right now that are out in the greater Danbury area, this is one of your own. He's made it to the level of professional hockey, and not only that, but he's one of the key goal scorers. He plays on the power play, and he does a great job. Listen, thank you so much for taking the time.
My dad grew up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, you ready? We're here with Devin Guy. He has played professional hockey for quite a few years. Here's his resume. Played for the Boston Junior Bulldogs, the Walpole Express, the Hudson Valley Bears, the Wichita Thunder, Danbury Whalers, and you went up to the Elmira Jackals in the East Coast Hockey League. How does that hockey compare to what you're playing here in Danbury?
It's a little bit, here it's like more of a raw hockey. It's a developmental league, I'm one of the older guys, and it's it's fast-paced, a lot of hitting, a lot of action going on. As you move up in levels of hockey, it just starts to be more skill. It starts to be more systems and all that type of stuff going on. So, but right now, we got guys that are trying to develop to get to the next level. But the next level of hockey, it's not too big of a jump, It's just that.
So when you play up at Elmira, you feel like you belong. You feel like you can keep up with the pace. And so forth?
Yeah. Like I said, when you get up to Elmira, in the East Coast Hockey League and stuff like that, there's not many weak spots. Like the first line's not much better than the third line. So there's a lot of skilled guys. There's a lot of guys that are making the jump to the American League from there too. So from here to the American League, it's a very large jump. From here to the East Coast League, not as big of a difference.
It's a little bit like baseball going from AA, AAA, and then to the show, as it were. Real quick, this weekend you had 2 games against Cape Cod. Yesterday there was just a bench clearing brawl at the beginning. You didn't dress yesterday, but you were called in within 11 seconds to be behind the bench and coach. How was that for you? You ended up winning. Is that something you're interested in doing?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we had a situation on the ice 11 seconds in, and Coach Esposito was asked to leave the bench, and we needed somebody to go represent a coach down there. So I went down there with help from a couple other players at first, and then we got the lines together, and then we just went from there. We're all paid professionals, we know the lines, but I'm just down there, just keeping the guidelines together. But it is something I'm maybe looking forward to in the future. I went to prep school right here in Connecticut, and maybe one day be a prep school hockey coach or something like that.
You're going to work your way up that way.
Yeah.
Now, yesterday's game, you had one guy that scored 6 goals. So was your approach to give him as much ice time as he can, put him on the power play, maybe shorten the bench, double shift him? It's not that hard when you got a guy scoring 6 goals.
Yeah, we are blessed to have a guy like Alec Kirshner that comes in here and he scores 6 goals on the night. Last night was a little bit different. They had a short bench, and he was able to get going. Tonight we couldn't get him going as much. He chipped in with a goal, but it's like you said, we're blessed to have a guy like that, and we try to get him as much ice time as possible without tiring him out. And after last night, he's absolutely a target. If we had a guy score 6 goals on us, we'd be making sure that our game plan was to make sure.
Did you notice that tonight? Did he need extra protection? Were they keen on him?
Yeah,
they didn't want to be embarrassed 2 nights in a row.
Yeah. It's talked about a little bit, but we're not going out there scared that they're gonna try to hurt one player or just focus on one player. if it happens, we adjust to it. We make the proper adjustments, and we move on from there. Tonight, we were just a little misfortunate, and a couple bad bounces, and we ended up on the shorter end of the stick.
Two last questions. Tonight's game, you get the tying goal with what, about like 5, 6, 7 minutes left in the third period. A great slap shot from the blue line. You think, wow, we tied it up, momentum's on our way, and you're on the power play. You have a power play after that. Then you give up a shorthanded goal. Is that a kick to the gut or what?
Yeah, you know, I was on the ice for the power play goal, I was screening the goalie, and you know, I turn around and I see it go in the net, and I felt like we had momentum going in, and I get to the bench, I'm getting a sip of water, and the next thing I know, I look and turn around, you know, we're going on power play. So with momentum on our side,
and the power play.
And the power play, you know, I think we're going to win the game with 3 minutes to go. Unfortunately, like I said, it was just one of those things. The puck went down into our corner, took a couple bad hops, and the guy walked out in front, and was able to get a stick on the puck and put it in the back of the net.
Last question. At the end of the game, you got in an altercation. How does that work out? Is there a discussion beforehand? Do you say you want to go? Is there a slipping of the glove? Is there eye contact? Do you say something about his mother? What happened that precipitates this fight?
Me? No, I don't say anything about it anymore.
No mothers are mentioned?
No mothers are mentioned, because I know what would happen if somebody was talking about my mother.
Good point.
Wouldn't involve dropping my gloves. I'd probably stay on a couple sticks and swat. But no, you know, it was a guy they had just signed. We know what he was here for. He's not a skilled player. I think they were a little cautious of what might happen today because of what happened yesterday.
So they brought this guy up specifically for this game?
Yeah, specifically for this game. And earlier in the game, you know, he was trying to, you know,
instigate?
Yeah, he was instigating. He was instigating, you know, trying to get under a couple guys' skins that aren't, you know, tough guys, just like trying to get under the skin of some skill guys. So, you know, at the end of the game type thing, and we're still trying to gain some momentum. There's a minute something, what was it, 3 minutes left to go in the game.
Right.
You know, I'm going to try to give my team some momentum. And I don't consider myself a heavyweight fighter, but, you know, when I get when I'm feeling it or I'm a little upset, I feel like you know, I can hang with anybody in the league as far as fighting is concerned. And you know, after that happened, we scored a goal, and then they buried an empty net.
Yeah, but that was the killer. Yeah, number 55 got that goal at the end. I was like, still hope.
Yeah.
Well, listen, thank you so much. Thank you for your effort. I believe Kelly Miller, originally from Toledo, Ohio. How long have you been in the professional hockey?
This is my 11th season.
Okay, and so now on this team, you have some younger players, guys down from Canada playing. In between the second and third period, I know there's the sanctity of the locker room, but you sort of took over. What did you say to the team to try and settle them down, to try and get them focused? What happened?
Well, you know, in the second period there, we had a little mental breakdown. Just kind of got off of what the game plan was. And sometimes it's best that somebody else comes in and talks to you, tries to get you motivated instead of hearing the same voice over and over again. It's nice to hear a different voice every once in a while. And these guys look up to me, and I appreciate everything they're doing for me here. And I just tried to, you know, make sure that it was best that I came in there, you know, left Coach Esposito out of it, and try to give them an incentive that they're pretty much that, you know, this is 20 minutes of the last weekend out of 4 or 5 nights. You got to empty your tank and be accountable in your own zone. And we were accountable all the way until there was 3 minutes left in the period. We gave up a power play goal there, which really kind of bites you, in the butt. But other than that, I think we had a pretty good, solid effort. I know guys for teams playing 4 or 5 nights. And, the guys are in and out of the lineup. So
I think we have a lot of guys. You know, when the fans come out and watch these games, the effort, it seems like night in and night out, is there. You know, it may be like tonight. I know the coach was fairly upset. There may have been, you know, a mental lapse. But it seemed like, especially in the first and second period, you were out skating these guys. The puck was constantly in their end. I think you outshot them like 2-1, something like that in those periods. What happened in that third period?
Well, you know, like I said, I think we came out hard, and you know, when you have one mental breakdown that puts a team ahead of you, and it's kind of like a shot in the foot.
Yeah.
It takes a lot out of you, and it's really hard for one individual to step up and be so, you know, motivated and to get 20 guys to jump on board with 3 minutes left in the game. Basically, we played I would say 55 minutes of hockey tonight. We just couldn't complete the 60 minutes, but the effort was there, and the guys stepped up for me, and with Coach Esposito being a suspension, and I'm injured, so I've had some experience behind the bench, and the guys respected me pretty well. And other than the 5-minute lapse that we had, we didn't we came to play.
Is that something you're interested in doing in the future, coaching?
Yeah, I've played as a player assistant coach in Wheeling in the East Coast League for almost 4.5 years, so it's definitely something I'm interested in. And I would like to start out with the junior level with kids first, and I was to be an assistant coach there and try to work my way up to maybe a Division I school eventually.
Excellent. Well, listen, thank you for taking the time.
Thank you.
And your next game's Wednesday night, right? So you got to live with this till then, and then you'll get over it.
Yep.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for the time. We're here with James Ryerson. He plays with the Danbury Whalers, and he has an Argyle sweater. And we feel as if that's good for television. Everyone wants to know. Everyone wants to know, can you make a lot of money playing for the Danbury Whalers, or are you kind of keeping your hockey dream alive? I mean, these Argyle sweaters are not cheap, so you have to be making some money. What's the story with that?
I don't know the answer to that, honestly. You know, the more you play, the better you play, the more you'll get paid.
All right, now there's a lot of talk, especially on this team. I think there's upwards of 12 players that have been promoted, if you will, to the East Coast Hockey League. They go up and down. Your starting goalie for tonight, for example, is playing up a level. Is that something you're aspiring to do as you get started in your hockey career?
Well, yeah, absolutely. A lot of people are obviously here to move up, and if I get the opportunity to go, I'd be happy to be there.
Okay, now would you, like when we interviewed Chris Seifert and some other guys, how would you describe your game? Are you a sniper? Are you a bruiser? Are you just a guy in an Argyle sweater?
I really wouldn't say I'm a goal scorer, but I go out there and try to bang bodies and get physical.
And what was your hockey career up until, did you play in college?
No, I just played a couple of years in juniors.
Junior hockey?
That's it.
And then work from there. All right. Well, listen, thank you very much for taking the time. I hope your hand gets better and everything like that, and get out there and skate some more.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Jessica.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, we're here with Greg Holt. He scored a goal last night. Describe to the people here what it's like to be in a game where 11 seconds into the game there's this huge fight, and a lot of guys on both sides of the bench are suspended, the coach is suspended. I mean, how do you go on and skate in a game like that? What's going through your mind?
I mean, it was a pretty unique experience. Something I've never been involved in, but just kind of stay focused and kind of battle through it.
Tonight, you guys had a lot of power plays. You had lots of opportunities. You had a couple 5-on-3s. You actually did bury up one on a 5-on-3. What did you think of the power play tonight? Was it clicking? Were you passing too much, not shooting enough? If you had to break it down,
We did a pretty good job. I think we needed to get more pucks on the net. I mean, we did have over 50 shots, but I think we just overall, over 50 shots, we just need to bury our chances.
Have you been in a game before where you score the game-tying goal with 3 minutes left and then give up a shorthanded goal? Is that a kick to the gut or what?
I mean, of course it is, and I'm sure I've been in plenty of games like that. So, but yeah, obviously, you don't want to give up a goal like that at the end of the game.
Last question. In this league, for the Danbury Whalers, what's the atmosphere like here at the Danbury Arena as compared to some of these games where you go and play in the other venues?
I've actually only played in Brooklyn and New Jersey, but our atmosphere obviously here is way better than the other places I've played. So.
Do you think it's an advantage for your team when they come in here and they're yelling at the goalie saying he's a sieve and they're,
Yeah, I mean, I think it just, makes the experience a lot better. But I would say, of course, it's an advantage as opposed to going to, say, Brooklyn in front of 200 fans. So, yeah.
Well, listen, thank you so much.
Yeah,
good job last night and good job with the power play.
Appreciate it. All right, I'll see you guys Wednesday.
If you want to actually correct me on that one, Marco, on the next whistle, I accidentally, it's my first error of the night as Arnott gets it out of the zone. We have a fight going on. It looks like it's going to be Carpenter and Fulton, and Fulton putting Carpenter into the bench. Carpenter, no chances at all, and now some more rough stuff as joining the fight is number 17 for the Danville Dashers, Ferguson. He's going to be a third man in. He better watch out he doesn't get thrown out and get ejected. Better watch out he doesn't get suspended or thrown out of the league. And another guy's getting in. O'Malley's in. Here we go. go! Here we go! The benches are clearing, and all over the fight, too, is number 4, Ryan Sturm. Danville is having a tough time with the Whalers, and now both benches are clearing. A big fight. Chinova's in there. Everybody's in there. We have a brouhaha in the Danville bench. This is absolutely ridiculous. This is worse than a fight last night at Cape Cod, and everybody, this is going to be a tough time sorting all these penalties. I really feel bad for the off-ice officials with this one. And we have an injured player for the Dashers. He's number 7, Tyler Forbes. He must have gotten hit hard. Look at this. They're still going at it. Maloro is
and his crew cannot keep it up as right now it looks like Maloro's in, and now Temple's going in. Crazy trying to
Bolton is trying to get back in. Deshanes is trying to hold away. Nick Deshanes, the captain of the Whalers, holding Corey Fulton back. And now we have a brouhaha at the Colisee de Androscoggin.
And the craziest part about it, Nick Nieder's standing around right now like he's waiting for his oil to be changed, and he's picking up 6. That would be the one guy I would say if there's a fight. And now he's going at another one.
Now the goalies want to go at it.
No, the goalies don't want to go at it. We'll just went after Lindoff.
30, 29, 28.
This is not what you expect.
No, not at all. They got to get some order down there. And the one thing you don't want to do if you're fighting the Danbury Whalers, don't fight Nick Nieder or Peter Beckman. They are wild dogs.
Especially Nieder. He was actually talking up on the bus about how it's been a while since he's been suspended. He shouldn't get anything for this. And right now, Chinova just staring down the bench like, come on, let's go. Fulton getting into it. Fulton bloodied and bruised.
I can only imagine how many done. I can only imagine how many people will be left on these benches after all the people are ejected. That's the first time I've seen that this year or any year in the FHL. This is
an absolute Donnybrook broke out.
Oh my goodness.
Sometimes it's fun.
You know what the funny part is? I actually come up here, I'm with Cape Cod now. We brought our point streak guy, Brian Baker. He's in charge of the point streak, and he's going to have a tough time putting all these penalties up on the scoreboard.
As I'm looking at it right now, there's going to be more than a few. It looks like Fulton and Chinova are done for the night here. We'll see who else gets. There's going to be more than a few ejections here. Commissioner Don Kernan is working his way around right now. Looks like he's going to come down and talk to some people. At the 10:41 mark of the third period, might be time to just call it here. Now Caranci is coming after someone. Nieder's going over. Are they going to get sticks or just? No. Looks like pieces broken out here, and the fans who are enjoying this one have just witnessed. It looks like the first bench clearing brawl in Federal Hockey League, at least this season, between these two sides.
He's still around.
Yeah.
All right, well, welcome back to the Marty Heiser Show. We are joined right now by the coach of the Danbury Whalers, Phil Esposito. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks for having me,
Marty. I really
Marty.
appreciate it. We were just talking about the team. How far into the season are you right now? A third of the way, halfway?
We're about a quarter of the way into the season. We play roughly 53 games, I believe, and we're about we're 14 games into the season, so we're just about a little over a quarter of the way there.
All right, and right now you're 7-7. Are you where you want to be? Not where you want to be, and what do you need to do?
Not really where I want to be right now. We had a good run a couple of weeks ago. We went four wins in a row, and then we had a little bit of a skid here the last couple of weeks. We had a lot of injuries. We have a lot of call-ups. We had 3 or 4 guys get called up to our affiliate, our AA affiliate, the Elmira Jackals, the East Coast Hockey League, and it's kind of hurt us a little bit. We went on a skid here for a couple of games, and we lost 3 in a row now, I believe, and one last night, which I thought we were going to pull out, and we didn't. And late in the end of the game there.
That was tough. Carl, you have a question for the coach?
Marty?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Firstly, just I want to commend you for having a different array of guests tonight, not the usual Richfield Forum.
Hey, the Beauty and the Beast, baby. The Beauty and the Beast. By the way, you're playing the role of the Beast.
I guess so.
You're a lot harder to look at than Nina. Okay, go ahead. You have a question for the coach?
Yeah, I got a question for the coach. I watched that fight, and when I heard Phil Esposito, I was thinking the other Phil Esposito. You're not related to the other Phil Esposito, right?
No, sir.
Okay. Coach, I've been to a couple of games. When you see that fight, you've been around hockey. That fight happens over. That's like Western Ontario type of stuff. What is the deal with your first two lines? You seem to be switching. What is the problem right now with the first two lines? That's my question.
Good question. Thanks a lot for calling. And by the way, if you have questions, we're going to have the phone number up there the whole time, 438-2003. What is it with the first two lines? What's going on?
Well, like I said, basically the season here, we're one of 3 teams in the Federal Hockey League to have an affiliation with the AA team in the East Coast Hockey League, and we're with the Elmira Jackals, and for some reason the other teams haven't had as much traffic as we've had. I mean, we're 14 games into the season, and I've already had like 9 or 10 guys get called up and are playing up in that other league there now. So we're kind of got a little bit of a revolving door when it comes to players, and a lot of times it's our better players, and those are the players that are on the first two lines. So we've had to kind of mix and match guys in and out and try and see line combinations to see who's going to fit well together, and it takes a little while to get going. I mean, we had the same problem last year, and then we were able to turn it around, later on in the second half of the season. And once we get those guys in the right spots and they gel together, things get really, really, they start playing really well together and things start to click.
Yeah, it's kind of a catch-22 because you've got such good players that are executing well and getting points and scoring goals, and then all of a sudden the next team up on the ladder cherry picks these guys and takes your best guys. It's kind of a good thing because these guys want to progress in their professional career, so they're happy to be called up to go to the show, or at least closer to the show. But it's got to be tough to manage that.
Well, it's real tough, especially down here because we're the bottom rung on the ladder here. So
it's from here to Tuesday Night Men's League.
Pretty much,
okay.
Yeah. So we're the bottom rung on the ladder. So when we lose a guy like that, it really affects us. The good thing about it is we get a lot of the more better players and stuff who want to come here because they see the traffic that we have between Danbury and Elmira right now. So, I mean, all the other teams in the league, I think there's only one or two other guys who had call-ups, and we're already up to number 9. So, wow. I mean, and a lot of that has to do with the relationship that I have with a lot of those coaches and stuff up in that league because I played up there for a long time and stuff, and I know a lot of them. So that's one of the other reasons where some of the other coaches in this league don't really have that relationship. So that's one of the reasons why we have so many call-ups here compared to some of the other teams.
So these coaches will call you and say, listen, I need someone who's got soft hands who can score goals.
Yeah.
What do you got? Or I need a bruising defenseman that's going to kill penalties. Who do you got?
That's one of our biggest things right there that you just said is defenseman. I mean, I still wish I played defense because if I was a defenseman, I'd probably still be playing because a really good stay-at-home defenseman is a guy who can have a career for a long, long, long time. As long as you can stay back and prevent goals and keep the puck out of your own end and stuff, it's one of those things where you can have a job for a while. So every time we get one of those, we wind up losing them right away. So that's one of the bad points. But it's good for the guys because they're getting a chance to call up. Like I just had our starting goalie Nick Nieder. He got called up the other day. He's up in Elmira now for 4 days. He'll be up there for the weekend and stuff. So it's one of those things. It's catch-22. It's good and it's bad. It's good for the players. It's good for us because we get a lot of the better players here who want to get a chance to get called up because they see the traffic. But it's bad because it's real hard to put together a lineup every night that's the same. So it kind of.
So the Elmira Jackals, who did they then graduate to from there?
They graduate to the Binghamton Senators and the Syracuse Crunch. They have two teams in the American Hockey League.
And then is that the feeder then to the NHL?
That's the feeder to the NHL, to the Anaheim Ducks, and to the. I believe it's the New York Islanders, so it's one of those two teams.
So the team, like many of you probably have seen the Bridgeport Sound Tigers, they're a feeder team to the
Islanders
New York
also.
Islanders.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what they're trying to do. I mean, it's really fascinating when you look at some of the backgrounds of some of these guys. Like there's a guy named Chris Clark that plays. He might be one of these stay-at-home defensemen.
Yeah, he's one of our big.
Did he get called up?
Yeah, he's been called up many times.
Okay.
He's got called up.
But this guy, listen to his resume. He's played for the Smith Falls Bears 2 years, Valley Forge Freedom, the Pickering Panthers, the Wichita Thunder, the Jonestown Chiefs. Is that what was in the movie Slapshot?
Slapshot, yeah.
So if you've seen Slapshot putting on the foil coach, Jonestown Chiefs, right there. It's a real team. the Hudson Valley Bears, Cincinnati Cyclone, Utah Grizzly, Louisiana Ice Gators. How much would you pay for a Louisiana Ice Gators sweater? Fayetteville Fire Ants, the Reading Royals, Danbury Whalers, and on it goes. These are guys that are holding on to their hockey dream and trying to make it go. And I'm telling you, I mean, we're not trying to be commercial here, so we're not. I'm just saying, as a civic announcement, these games are very entertaining to see. These guys are leaving it all out on the ice, and it's pretty impressive to see these guys skate. And it's not just out-of-town guys. I mean, they've had guys from Alberta, Canada, Mississauga, Ontario, Highland Falls, New York. They have guys from all over, but they also have a lot of local guys, like this guy, Chris Seifert. He's locally, he played in Stamford, Connecticut.
Yeah, he lives in Norwalk, yeah.
He lives in Norwalk. He's a local guy, but he's one of your top goal scorers,
yeah,
isn't he?
he's a little older than some of the guys we got on our team. He's been playing a while. He's always been a skilled forward, always been one of those guys who has a nose and a knack for putting the puck in the net. And last year was our leading goal scorer. He's leading our team in points this year right now, and he's one of those guys who just, you know, he's going through a little bit of a slump. We got a couple of guys, him and the other kid, Marty Muka, number 9. He was up in the American Hockey League for a little while this year with the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, and he got sent down. So those two guys there, they're in a little bit of a funk right now. We're having a little bit of a problem scoring goals, but that happens, and we'll fight through it, and eventually it'll all break open, and then we'll start, you know, the guys will start finding the net more.
Yeah. Well, the one thing, and I was at the game the other night when you played against New Jersey. By the way, Chris Furillo. He was, well, you know, you were the assistant coach last year. He was the head coach. There's no love lost between you. That's my sense. I read these things. It's an atmosphere thing. What's the story there? And how much did it hurt to lose to that son of a gun in your building? I mean, you got to be, you know, I know your wife's here tonight. Is there a suicide watch, anything like that? Or
No, there's no suicide. There was a suicide watch for some of my players last night, but that was about it, because I was about to commit suicide on a couple of them, but commit murder on a couple of them. But we had a little talk after the game last night about what happened, and
did you just have a clearing of the air? Did you have everyone sit down and share their feelings about how the game went, or did you kind of dominate the conversation?
I kind of dominated the conversation to some point.
So you had some thoughts you wanted to share?
I had a couple of thoughts.
Okay.
There's a couple of broken apparatuses in our locker room right now and things like that and stuff. So, you know, I sat down with everybody after the game. We had a little bit of a conversation. Everybody understood where I wanted to be and where I was coming from. And this morning we had a little bit of an hour skate, maybe on the ice with no pucks for an hour this morning. So there's a bunch of pissed off guys right now. So we'll see what happens tomorrow night.
If you've ever seen, like, going on YouTube, there's some famous hockey speeches by Herb Brooks. Is that right? Herbie Brooks. He was the coach of the 1980 Olympic hockey team. A real no-nonsense hockey coach, and he would skate those Olympic guys that eventually beat the Russians. They didn't beat the Russians, but they beat the Russians, and then who did they win in the Stanley Cup? Or in the
they beat
the
Finland, I believe.
Finland, I think, was the last game. I mean, guys like Mark Johnson, Craig. Who was that goalie?
Jim Craig.
Jim Craig. Some really incredible hockey players, but he would skate these guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed the show. You get a little glimpse into Danbury Whaler hockey at the Federal Hockey League. Thanks for joining us. Next week, we'll have some dopey politician in here, mild-mannered. It'll be very civil, and I think you'll enjoy it. Roundtable political discussion, and of all things, we're having Adam DePasquale, who's written a book called 10, talking about how to improve your marriage. You know, that's the beauty of this show. It's eclectic, and you get a lot of extremes. Marco, I want to thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Marty.
And we'll see you next week on The Marty Heiser Show. Thanks for joining us.